Well, welcome, HTV family. How's it going? Welcome to Hold the Ball, your home of pure rugby league. Guys, first and foremost, before I start, Fanatics, thank you for joining in. How are you going? What's been happening? And are you excited for today, for the show? Let's go.
Yeah, Hold the Ball. It's great to be back on your channel for actually the first time in 2023. So, believe it or not, we haven't done a show since last year. So, yeah, I can't wait to be on the show. This new named show called, what is it?
Locked on Warriors.
Locked in Warriors. So I'm looking forward to it. So it's going to be pretty much Warriors, just New Zealand Warriors related show. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it tonight. And yeah, I can't wait for the season starting. Actually, it's actually starting this week. The preseason trial tomorrow with the Warriors and the West Tigers. But I'm sure we got a lot to get through today in regards to the whole off season.
Yes, we do. And again, welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are well. Please be seated, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're driving, whether you're eating. Welcome to Hold the Ball. Let us entertain you for the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Again, a show that's going to be basically primarily focused on our beloved New Zealand Warriors. Now, in saying that, I'm excited and I'm hyped, and I have a few, I suppose, topics for us to talk about, conversate over. Please feel free as well in the comments there to ask some questions. You know what I mean? And again, tell us how you're going. Right? It's been a while, like Fanatics said. First time in 2023, HTV's got a show on here. And again, I'm honored and privileged to have Fanatics here as well as the co-host. So, look, we all know, guys, things have been happening, right? Love is in the air. And yes, I'm talking about the Warriors and their constant posts, right? Instagram, whether it be Facebook, Twitter. Preseason feelings, Fanatics. Are you feeling something about this preseason? Does it sort of tingle you just a little bit? What's the go? Tell me how you feel.
Well, as the Warriors fan would say, every year, this is our year. So, look now, in all seriousness, I mean, this preseason has been. Look, I think there's been some promising things being said and done throughout this off season so far, and I'm excited. I am really excited actually, and I'm not going to lie. I generally don't get too overhyped or too excited when it comes to the off season and what you hear, but I think things are promising. I think this year could be a year where we show a bit of improvement from the past couple of years, and I actually do really believe it. I do believe it. So, there's obviously you got the new coach here, Andrew Webster, who's come on board from the Penrith Panthers. He's come from a very successful system. He's coming to rebuild this club and get it back to where it was, well, probably years ago, trying to get the Warriors to be a little bit more of a consistent team in terms of on-field results and try and build this club again. And that's, I think, for me, yes, it probably will take some time. I don't think it's going to be straightforward. We may suffer some losses at the start, but we may see some success at the end. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the table, and as well as the assistant coaches there at the club, and some of the new signings like Tamate Martin, Luke Metcalf, you name it. There's a lot of them coming to the club as well, which I'm really excited to see, like some Mitchell Barnett and that. So yeah, I think overall so far in the preseason, I've been liking what I'm seeing, liking what I've been hearing. But it's all about bringing that action to the field this season, and that's what it's all about going to March, where the NRL officially starts. So, yeah, I can't wait for it.
Awesome. Well said, Fanatics. Just quickly as well, I also want to, again, the Wobbling Jaw Sports channel, please give our good friend here a follow on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter as well. Again, a very active member is he in the community, rugby league community especially as well. But again, welcome all as well. And yeah, again, Fanatics, beautiful what you said there. Look, for me, the preseason feeling, like you said, every year it's cliche, but we always say it. This year is our year, right? It's not about last year. It's about this year. It's about focusing. And that's the reality. I really feel for this year, the Warriors, after our abysmal season last year, the only way is up, right? Surely we improved better than what we did. And, whether that be looking at new players coming in, younger players growing up and obviously getting opportunities and spots, regardless, it's just about hoping that everything that we're seeing from the coach down, or should I say the staff down, is obviously going to be shown or reflected on the league field. And granted, obviously, we always get hyped up, and I am as well, but you always got to have that little bit of, I suppose, reserved nature, if you will, where we just sort of, despite our feelings, despite how energetic we feel, then yes, we want to do this. We also need to also step back and be like, okay, brace ourselves, because sometimes it can go horribly wrong. It is what it is. But in saying that, preseason, I'm so excited, happy, and I cannot wait to get things off. And again, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to ask questions. We're here for about 30 minutes to 45. Anyway, big news as well over the off-season. About a fortnight ago, we all got the sudden news revelation that Otokolo as well as Kina Kepu. Again, Kina Kepu was the brother to Lingi Kepu. Both these players here got released. I wasn't too sure on details. What are your thoughts in it? And I suppose from a club sense, does it show that we're going perhaps in the right direction? Give me your thoughts, Fanatics.
Well, from what I've been hearing, rumoured, I'm not too sure whether this is true or not, that one of the players didn't like, the work of the off season. So I think that's what's been rumoured. So, but I mean, if players don't want to be here and don't want to work hard, then it's best they leave. So I think with Otokolo, I don't think Otokolo was going to get much game time anyways. I'm hearing he's gone to the Dolphins. I don't know how correct that is, but I don't think he was going to get much first grade anyway. So I didn't really mind that Otokolo was gone, even though we did lose another sort of option in the hooker spot. But yeah, it was never going to be in front of Freddie Lussick or Wade Egan. I don't think so. As for Kina Kepu, look, I would have preferred to see Kina Kepu stay. I mean, we didn't get to see him get any opportunities in first grade last year. I think he had some injuries as well. So I was a bit more gutted with the Kina Kepu release than the Otokolo release, to be honest. So that's just my opinion on what I believe. And good luck to Kina Kepu. All the best to him and wherever he goes next. And Otokolo, whatever he does next. So yeah.
Yeah, look, I guess we don't know really what happened. I mean, I suppose if you read between the lines in the article, if I sort of go back to it, I remember it was something along, and I'm just paraphrasing here, something along the lines of they didn't meet the standard or whatever it was, they didn't quite reach the standard that was needed for the players, and with that being said, despite the feelings and stuff of these players going, we don't like to see it. I'm not going to lie, I was a big fan of Otokolo. I thought he could have had more time, but anyway, it is what it is. However, in saying that, in the club's direction, I think it's a good thing. Regardless, it shows you that we are, as a club, we're stamping our authority. We're not here to, muck around. We really mean business, and if it means cutting and having lack of depth in a proposition, then so be it. I suppose. Granted, you just hope that things sort of come right in the proposition. You're right there, especially with Kina Kepu going. Definitely does hurt our stocks there, but in saying that, it is what it is. On to the next, I suppose. And again, guys, I'll be reading your comments as well. So, yeah. Fanatics, right? We all know of Webby, right? He's definitely moving mountains, so to speak. He's getting the boys to train. That things are happening left, right, and center. And and I suppose that all adds up to the preseason feelings that we sort of touched on before. What are your thoughts on Andrew Webster so far, up to this very point?
Yeah, look, so far I think Andrew Webster's doing a pretty good job so far, and what I've been listening to a lot of his interviews and chats on radio stations and podcasts and that. So I think what I've seen and what I've heard by Andrew Webster so far has been good so far, and you can tell that he is passionate. He wants to see the team do well, and he wants to improve the plays and make the Warriors, a very consistent side again. And I think that's the promising sign from me in regards to Andrew Webster, and he speaks very well too as a coach. So that's something you want in your club. You want someone that's passionate for the club. You want to see a coach that brings that energy to the players. And that's hearing players also. They're warming to him as well. So which is good to hear. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. And I suppose just to add my 2 cents onto it as well. Look, as Warriors fans, we're just so used to the continual rotation of coaches, right? It just is what it is. However, in saying that, there's just cliche again, but there's just something different about this one here. And I'm sure we've probably said this before, but there really is. There's just a sense of optimism that I get with Andrew Webster. Does it help that he's come from a very dominant Penrith Panthers team? Yeah, it does. Arguably the most dominant team probably in the modern game. Yeah, I think so. However, in saying that, despite that, I still think he brings the sense of authority, the sense of demand, the accountability that I think the players have probably never come across. And I think it's really good for the young players who have never experienced a coach at top NRL level. If this is their first coach, how good is it? You know what I mean? Like for the younger players, if Andrew Webster's their first proper coach, how good? The likes of Volkman, right? Your Lussicks, right? Young players there who probably haven't had enough time under. Now they're going to get Webster here for a few good years. Touch wood. I think it's a good thing. And my thought so far with Andrew Webster is keep it coming, because I'm very, very excited. That is for sure. And again, guys, feel free to ask questions and all that stuff there. But I think he has what it takes, in my opinion, to help us improve. All right, Fanatics. And Fanatics, I know you had this covered in terms of review and all that stuff.
Yep.
Right. SG ball, Rabbitohs 10, Warriors 12. Can you please give the viewers at home a bit of an explanation, maybe for those who don't know, what the SG ball is about and why the Warriors in it, if you can?
Okay, so the SG Ball Cup is a competition in the New South Wales Rugby League comp, and it's the under-19s. So it's basically the under-19s that go into that competition. The Warriors used to have a team in the SG Ball Cup back in 2020. And at that stage, the Warriors were actually doing quite well in terms of the competition. But that was when COVID started to hit. So COVID struck, and the Warriors unfortunately had to pull out of the competition altogether. So they didn't have a team in the SG Ball Cup team from 2020 onwards to 2022, and now to 2023. They're back into the competition. So, look, for me, it's just great to see the boys, the SG Ball Cup team, back in action. It's good to see them in the competition again. It's been a long time. It's been long overdue. And and this game actually was the first time that these two teams actually faced off against each other. So they never met in the SG Ball Cup before. So it was the first ever clash that they played off against each other. And it was at Redfern Oval in Sydney, famous stomping ground of South Sydney Rabbitohs. Yes, so yeah. And coaching this Warriors SG Ball Cup team is Adam Blair, a legend himself. Adam Blair doesn't need no introduction. He's been around the game for so long, and I think he's perfectly the right appointment to take this SG Ball Cup side moving forward. And I think it's very important for the grassroots and the junior development pathways to have a team in the SG Ball Cup grade. So, yeah, it's just great to have this team back competing and playing in the competition.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Fanatics. And look, I suppose the summation of the game, and again, I just want to, what was the name, Fanatics, please? What was the name of the guys who hosted it? Is it Rabbitohs fans? What do they call it?
They've called, so shout out to them. It's called Bunnies TV on YouTube. So for those of you who were lucky enough to watch it or had time to watch it, it was on their YouTube channel, live streamed on the last Sunday morning. And those guys, they covered it. So if you haven't seen it already, you can go and check out a live replay. It's a live replay and watch it back on their channel, or they've got some highlights if you want to watch their highlights. So I highly recommend you go and check them out. And yeah, they did a great job with the commentary and the camera work in particular. So massive shout out to those guys, Bunnies TVs. Great, very nice blokes, really good legends and they did a great job. So a massive shout out to them.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Look, Fanatics, I saw the game, and I guess just to summarize it quickly before you go into stand-up players for the Warriors there in the SG team.
Yep.
It was a very tough physical game. Obviously, a few mistakes here and there, but I mean, ultimately you can conclude that the Warriors definitely had the defensive sort of, grit and mind going into this game here, the mindset, and they did well to defend well. Granted, I think the Rabbitohs had a lot of the pill, particularly in the second half. very close to the try line too, yet the Warriors were just so defensively minded, which helped them win the game. And we sort of touched on it as well before we started going live. There's a player there in the Rabbitohs team, the number 9 there, and again, his name was TJ Herring. He had 2 occasions there right on goal there where he virtually right in front, sorry. And unfortunately for him in the Rabbitohs, he missed 2 times there. Unfortunately, striking to the left a bit too much there. And I suppose had he got it in, probably as a draw, maybe the Warriors going to lose. I'm not too sure. But anyway, he misses it, and obviously the Warriors win. Tough game nonetheless. Fanatics, sort of stand-up players from this team. Was there anything you wanted to just quickly say before we go into this, or what were your thoughts, or did you want to go straight into the stand-up players from the game, the Warriors?
I'll just add on to that actually. So regards to this game in particular, it was actually been played. So it was played at Redfern Oval in Sydney, and the Warriors. I think the Warriors start pretty slowly, but they warmed into this game. I thought even though we leaked an early try, I think we were well in this. You could tell, and I mean there was a try to foot away, Fuka. The hooker there, I thought he was a player that for me was one of the standouts of starting this game, and also the Rabbitohs for me, I think it looked like they knew that we were up for a contest. They could tell that the Warriors were going to come and give it a real hot crack, and the Warriors did. So. Yeah, I mean, we can get into the stand-up plays now, but I just want to add on to the fact that, the Warriors started pretty slowly, but then they warmed into this game very well. And it was quite hot in Sydney as well, so weather conditions were warm. A lot of Warriors supporters. I can hear a lot of Warriors supporters down there, actually, when I heard the commentary when the Warriors scored that try. So plenty of Warriors support down there in Sydney on the day.
Yeah, no, it was good to hear. Actually, one of the best parts about watching that game, love hearing the Warriors fans go crazy for the boys. No matter all the girls, right? It is what it is. All right, so if you wanted to pick, or if you could pick 3 players for me, in your opinion, who are stand-up players for you, if not, I'm happy to bring I'll do my 3 first, and then you can do yours. Yeah. For me in the game, I thought one of the players who stand out was the Warriors prop Harry Durbin. The number 10 there, I thought he was good. Very good, strong ball carrier. He was very good with ball in hand as well. Defensively was an absolute menace. Another player as well I didn't mind was Ratu Simone Naborizi, and I think he's a Fijian player too. Young, very fast, agile young man, and it was good to see him sort of run around the paddock there. And also for mine, I didn't mind the centre there, Patrick Moi, and I don't think he's related to Fui Moi of days gone past, but I thought he was a very strong ball carrier, in my opinion. Fast, strong, defensively sound, promising nonetheless. But those are my probably 3 standouts there. So Harry Durbin, Ratu Naborizi, as well as Patrick Moi. Fanatics, over to you.
Yep. So for me, obviously, I've gone with the fullback in Ratu Simone Naborizi. If I've pronounced that wrong, apologies. I thought he was great. I think he was quite dangerous too, especially when running the ball. And you could see he was a threat every time he got the ball in hand. And also another player I thought stood out was Tanner Stowers-Smith in the prop position. Yep. Yeah, I was massively impressed with his game. Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. And the hooker as well. Big shout out to the hooker. Itati Fukufuka, I think that's how you say it. If I pronounce that wrong, I do apologise. But yeah, I think he was great. That try he scored, especially, the skills he used to score that try, a bit of a chip and over, and then he scores. So yeah, and the Warriors fans just went nuts. You can hear the Warriors supporters go nuts in the crowd, and that was awesome. I really enjoyed that try. I thought it was great. And another player I thought stood out was the player on the wing as well, and that player got it on my screen here. Sio Gully, the winger there. Sio Gully, yeah, I thought he was good too. So a couple of standouts here for me. Just trying to name one more player. Who else? I'll just go with those players. Yeah, I thought they were good. Those are my standout players.
No worries. And look, I suppose you already touched on as well the SG ball and obviously the importance of it as well, which we'll sort of just skim over. It's important because obviously it's the next generation, so to speak, for the Warriors there in particular. I have a question here as well. Which jersey are you wearing? I sort of just stood up there, but I've got the old school retro Warriors jersey from back in the day. I thought I'd, go back, so to speak. But anyway, we're going to be moving away now from the SG ball, and we're going straight here to Alex Seyfarth, right? So it was announced today by Worldwide of Sports, I believe it is, Aussie media. Alex Seyfarth reportedly rejected a 3-year offer from the Warriors. Now, granted, the context behind it is because he has a baby, right? Or the partner's pregnant and he wants to stay in Sydney. Fair enough. But what are your thoughts on the offer anyway? And did it surprise you that we offered Seyfarth money to come ashore?
Actually, this one came out of the blue. I didn't even know this was happening. I didn't know about it until I saw something in a group chat on Instagram today. So, surprised, but not overly shocked that he rejected the deal because obviously he said that he wants to stay in Sydney. I saw something he wanted to stay in Sydney. So, look, fair enough. I mean, it's understandable. I mean, look, we obviously want someone that wants to come to the Warriors and stay in New Zealand, want to be at the club, but I'm not too disappointed with it, to be honest. And fair enough. It's understandable.
Yeah, look, I think it's interesting. I think Seyfarth probably fits under particularly with the fans who don't know him, under the Jackson Ford mold, I think, in the sense that not many people know who he is, right? So it is what it is in this case here. With Alex Seyfarth, obviously, he's second rower. I think he's about 190 centimeters. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Used to play for the Tigers, and I believe he actually has not been offered a contract beyond 2023. So he's sort of betting on himself here, so to speak. So again, it'll be interesting. But yeah, there you go. He rejected the offer there from the Warriors to play for 3 years, and he's going to try and bet on himself and hopefully get something happening over there. Anyway, speaking of the Tigers, we have a very big preseason game tomorrow against the Tigers. And my understanding is that it's a members-only game over there in the beautiful Mount Smart in Auckland and Aotearoa. And it'll be the Warriors granted, a preseason team versus the Tigers granted them preseason team as well. Fanatics, give me your thoughts on I suppose, this game. And I know both of us did our preview on this, so please go to our respective channels and watch and subscribe. But what are your thoughts heading into this one here? Right.
So look, I did a preview on my channel. I did that yesterday. So if you want to go and check that out, give that a watch. But so in terms of this game, look, I come into this one expecting that there'll be a lot of young players playing, and I wasn't shocked with the team that's getting named. Especially there are quite a few more first graders than I expected. Actually, I wasn't expecting the likes of Marcelo Montoya to start. Bunty Afoa was a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect Bunty to be playing this trial. But, I think for me, it is just watching regards to how the new signings go and Luke Metcalf and Tamare Martin. So my eyes are really focused and watching on those two players and how they go in their first outing at the club. So that's what I'm looking out for. And also, another player I'm looking out for especially is Tane Tuapiki at fullback. Now, I've got massive raps on Tane Tuapiki because I've watched a lot of him play. Being here on the Gold Coast, he played for the Burleigh Bears, which is my local Queensland Cup team that I follow and support. And I watch their games quite a lot. So Tane Tuapiki is a player that I think is very exciting, very young. He's got a lot of raw talent as well, quite quick. Reminds me of Kevin Locke, actually. He does remind me a bit like Kevin Locke in his playing, in his player style. So I think for me, Tane Tuapiki, you've got to watch out for him. You've really got to keep your eye out for him. I mean, he's the player you need to look and watch, especially in this game, because I think this is going to be a big opportunity for him. Big opportunity to show the coaching staff and the selectors what he can do and show the NRL as well, which, although it's not really an official NRL game, it's a pre-season game nonetheless, so it's still really like an NRL game. So looking out for those players and also, just the usual first graders, especially how the likes of Edward Cozy and Viliami Valea go. I think Cozy last year had a great back end of the year as well. So I'm keeping an eye out for them, especially, and Tom Ale. Tom Ale at prop. I can't wait to see how Tom Ale goes. I really can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing him in his first game in a very long time. It's the very first game in a long time, first grade. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really have expectations going into this one. I just want to see, just what we've worked on in the off-season, the pre-season, in terms of our game style and our attacking style, our defense as well, which is really important. We know that needs to step up and improve this year. So just those two key areas which I'm looking to in the off-season in terms of this trial game and how that all goes fruition on the field. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking forward to looking at this game, especially watching these young players as well as the game plan and how that goes on the field.
Awesome. Just quickly, I've got a comment here, and I'll get back to another previous one as well. A bit of a compliment here, I think. Thank you, Taylor. If you want to find out what's happening in the Warriors land with no BS, I can always count on HCB and Fanatics to give it to me. Yeah, well, fair enough. Thank you for that. Levi Hawkins asks, the brothers, my bro, can you start up in our fantasy comp, my brother? I think Fanatics, perhaps I might be wrong here, but I think Fanatics might be more in tune with the fantasy in our stuff, or more than me, perhaps. If not, then you and I are both lost here, because I don't know too much about the NR fantasy side of things, personally. Look, I suppose for me, just quickly, on the players to watch out for, Jackson Ford. All right. When he got selected, there was a lot of slack. All right. There was a lot of people there who were very unsure. Well, Jackson Ford, now is the time, my good friend, my brother, my Warriors dude, to show us what you have, right? What you've got. Jackson Ford comes from the Dragons, second row, obviously, and I think he'll definitely be ready and chomping at the bits to get out there and play. Another player, too, that I'm looking out for is Zaon Mau'u. And I believe he was part of the Auckland, the NZRL comp. They had a national comp, and he was runner-up. He played in the team that came second place, I think. Point being, though, is Zaon Mau'u, I think, is somebody who's definitely destined for greatness in the future, particularly in the Warriors.
Definitely.
He's a very handy additional player. He comes in at 14, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is he sort of like a utility player? Do you know much about him in terms of positional play? Because I'm pretty sure he looks like he's built like a forward. He's a big dude. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's more of a forward than a utility. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see how they use him, what Andrew Webster does with him. I think, a lot of those players will probably get a lot more minutes. I think you'll see the likes of Marcelo Montoya or likes of Edward Cozy maybe come off the field, get some rest. I don't think we'll see a lot of those players play a lot of big minutes. I think, especially with it being there's a second trial coming up next week against Melbourne, which will be more of the game where we'll see more established players get a lot more minutes than they will. So I think with these trials, we always know that these trials, you always expect there'll be a lot of different changes, on the game, during the game. So we'll see a lot of those players play limited minutes, come off, and then, we'll play a lot more minutes in that next trial game. So that's just what I personally believe in and what I see happening, because it happens every time in trials. The first week, it's always those trials where the other players will get a lot more minutes than they usually do.
Yeah. And look, I've touched on Ford. I've touched on Mau'u. I also think Lussick as well. Freddie Lussick, whether you like it or not, obviously Egan is our main starter, but I think Freddie Lussick is definitely somebody who's going to be not too far behind. I think he's going to be fighting.
Oh, what happened? Hold the ball disappeared. Oh boy, what happened here?
Apologies. Hopefully you guys can see it. Sorry for that. Just a bit of technical difficulties there. Sorry. I reckon Freddie Lussick will be fighting Dylan Walker for that utility spot, in my opinion. Obviously, you got Tabanga there as well, who's also creeping about. Thank goodness I'm not the coach, because there's a very messy sort of a situation. A good one, but a messy one nonetheless to sort of be with. I've also got another one as well. Obviously, the halves there. And you mentioned Metcalf, you mentioned Te Maire Martin. If Metcalf goes ham, in other words, if he goes crazy, goes good, goes bonkers, whatever word it is you want to use, do the halves get a shake-up? Because I know, without a shadow of doubt in my mind, Metcalf is going to this game here like it's his do or die, if you will. He seems very focused in this game here. I don't think he's here to muck around. He's not here to just be thankful that he's got a preseason debut. I think this guy really means he wants to stamp his mark. All right. So if he goes ham, if things happen, if he does something that we are not ready for, what do you think happens? Is there a shake-up? What are your thoughts? Do you think for Metcalf, despite it being preseason, I get it, but do you think for Metcalf this is a very important game?
Oh, it definitely is. You can't say it isn't. You know, it's a big opportunity for Luke Metcalf to make his case for selection for round 1 against Newcastle. Yep. You know, he's got this game, and I don't know whether he'll be selected in the next preseason game. I'm not too sure, because there'll be a lot more first graders in the side. So I think this is his biggest opportunity he's going to have, just to step up and try and get selected for round 1 against the Knights. So it's a massive game. It's a big game for him. It's a real huge one.
It really is. And I think I don't want to leave out Te Maire Martin also, but I almost feel like, for me, because Te Maire Martin is a veteran, if you will, right, quote unquote veteran, especially in comparison to Metcalf, I almost feel like a lot of the spotlight is going to be shown directly at Metcalf, and fair enough. He has a big game to play, and like you said, preseason or not, I think he's definitely ready for this one here. Levi Hawkins asks, thoughts on the NRL or even the other clubs not giving us more home games, or giving up one of their home games for us after all those years of sacrifice we made is rude. Also, we have a hard draw. I know you and I probably touched on this as well, right? The reality of what we'll come up against. What are your thoughts on it, just quickly?
Look, I mean, I'm not really shocked. You know, I wasn't really surprised when the draw came out that we weren't going to get a lot more home games. You know, it was not a surprise to me. I mean, it would have been nice to definitely have a couple more home games. And there, I'm not saying the whole season should be in New Zealand, but I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. At the end of the day, you can't really complain about it anymore, and we just have to live with it. You just have to live with it and put up with it, unfortunately. But I don't know, hopefully when we play our home games, we do make them count. We make sure we make them count. We've got to turn our home ground into a fortress. We've got to do that, you know, because a lot of the games when we go on the road, you know, generally we're not a team that does very well when we go on the road, especially. So I think we need to really start the season well and win those important games at home. We can't drop games at home.
Yeah, no, well said there, Max. I think that's right. That's spot on, actually. All right, and again, granted, now we all know it's just a preseason, right? But what do you consider Fanatics? If you were the coach for this preseason game tomorrow, let's say you lose, let's say we win, whatever it is, what do you consider a pass mark? Is it players getting game time? Is it seeing Metcalf, you know, I suppose, achieve a few objectives that he may have in place for him? Is it seeing Te Maire Martin lead the ball in hand in terms of kicking, Taupiki running the ball in hand? What's the pass mark for a game like this that obviously has no bearing, really, any relevancy heading into the NRL season in March?
Look, for me, it's really just, in terms of this game, it's really just trying to get a lot of these players minutes in the belt and trying to, you know, them trying to achieve what they want to achieve, you know, as players. You know, they want to go out there, obviously, they want to prove a point to the coaching staff that they want to be selected or, you know, be around the squad throughout the season. So that's what I get out of this game, especially, is just players getting minutes and being able to prove a point to the coaching staff that they want to be selected in the side more regularly throughout the year. So, in regards to that, also is, you know, the on-field performance for me. Look, does it really matter? It's a trial game. Yes, it does. It's still a game of footy. It still counts, even though it's preseason. But it's not the be and end all. It's not the end of the world if we lose this game. When we draw the game. I just want to see the effort, performance-wise on the field, and just what we've seen and what we've done in the preseason training and take it onto the field. That's just what I want to see more so than worrying, more focused on the result, because I'm not really focusing on the result. I'm just focusing on what we've done in the off-season and translating it on the field.
Yes. No, I think that's actually well said. And I suppose I almost want to mirror exactly what you said, really, because it's not about the results, but it's what happens, in the game. It's not about us winning or losing. Obviously, we want to win, of course, but at the same time, if we lose, it doesn't matter. We just want to see the players sort of meet some targets, whether that be tackles, running the ball, whatever it is. Right. And I suppose when you mentioned Marcelo Montoya, you mentioned the half there. Obviously, we'll mention virtually everyone there, but it is also about seeing some of the young players. And just quickly as well, I will mention some of them, not to necessarily gloss over them per se, but you've got Sanele, Augustino, for example, Ali Leatawa, you got Jacob Laban as well, right? You got Michael Steele, you've got Dimitrik Sifakula, right? So those are just some of the names of the players that have not actually even debuted for the Warriors. Young players, probably in their 19, 20 years old. I'm not sure if Fanatics is anything you want to add just quickly or...
I want to add on to that. Actually, also, what I've noticed in the reserves is someone by the name of Eden Ackland.
Yep, Ackland, yeah.
Eden Ackland, who was, I believe he was in Manly's system. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there, but now he's back in New Zealand. So I just noticed that Eden Ackland's there, and that's related. I think he's related to John Ackland. So John Ackland, who was a former coach, junior Warriors coach a couple of years ago. And also I've noticed Paul Roach as well. So that's the brother of Nathaniel Roach, former Warrior player, who's at the Sea Eagles. So, just another player I've noticed name-wise in there. So, it's look, all those younger players, especially like Jacob Laban and, just Zion Ma'u as well, just getting a chance to play. They probably don't usually... They're not going to get a bigger opportunity than this just to get on the field and get some minutes and play in that first trial. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to watching a lot of these young players, just wanting to see how they go.
Yeah, can't wait to see them smash those dirty Tigers. All right, so we've got it. Nicholas McKercher asks, what are your thoughts on Metcalf and Martin halves pairing in round one? With Sean Johnson really working hard to get back in the starting squad. That's interesting. So in a hypothetical world, let's just say Webby is in love with the Metcalf and Tamari Martin combo. In a hypothetical world, he starts him over Sean Johnson. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that's quite controversial?
Oh, that would be probably the most biggest call of his coaching start to the Warriors. It'd be one of the biggest calls ever. Just in the first game of the season against the Knights, you think, oh, geez. But look, I'd probably not see it happening. Let's be completely honest. It's going to be Sean Johnson and Tamari Martin. Even if Luke Metcalf has a massive game, I think it's still pretty much certain it's going to be Tamari Martin and Sean Johnson. Unless something happens, like an injury or something, which I hope doesn't happen. Don't want to see an injury happen to anyone, but look, be realistic. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Just also as well, just quickly, is the audio clear on your end there, Fanatics? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I'm just having a bit of technical difficulty here as well, just my end. Quickly. Look, I don't want to repeat too much there what you said. I think that's good there. Last question as well, guys, before we sort of hop off again. Sean Johnson, you can be as detailed or as vague as you want to be, Fanatics. But again, this is the last question here. Is he in for a big year? Yes or no? Thoughts?
Yeah, look, I hope so. I really hope so. I've always been a big fan of Sean Johnson. Through the years, through his juniors years. Your audio's a bit cutting out there, but so like I said there, look, the juniors, Sean Johnson is in for a big year. Yes, I think he is actually. I think he is in for a big year. I reckon he'll have a massive, strong 2023, and he really needs to. For me, this is probably going to be a make or break year for Sean Johnson. I know it's a big call to make. It's a massive call to make. He's an experienced player. He's been around for so long, but I think this is a big year for him. This is a massive year that he needs to make the most of, and help this team moving forward. So I think he will be. I think he will have a good year. Actually, I think he will have a big year.
Awesome there. Look, I agree with you. Just to clarify, can you hear me there? Can you hear me? Sorry, guys, just a bit of technical. Can you hear me, Fanatics?
Yep. I can hear you much better now. It was a bit crickly before. Yep.
Okay, apologies for that. Look, I'm probably going to close this off, but just quickly as well, regarding Sean Johnson, is it a big year? It is, right? Whether you like it or not, I think Metcalf is definitely breathing down his neck. Tamade Martin as well there. It just looks like the Warriors, whether you like it or not, I'm not sure what's happening with him. It is technically his last year at the Warriors. Are they going to offer him another contract? I don't know. But it is a big year, right? And I'm looking forward to seeing how he sort of reacts to that and plays to that. That's probably the best I can say. Again, guys, I want to thank you all for being part of the show. Apologies for the technical difficulty there. Thank you again for being part of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the first episode of Locked On Warriors. Get ready because we're going to be making this regular. I don't see this happening on Wednesday, though, just due to personal reasons. It just had to be this way. We're looking to shifting it back to either a Monday or a Tuesday. And this is also different to HTB Live as well. So don't get it twisted. 2 different shows. We're still going to be there. But in saying that, Fanatics, any other final words before we hop off?
No, just thank you, Hold the Ball, for having me on your show, and really appreciate it. And thanks to all the viewers for watching. Really appreciate their comments and contributions as well in the chat and watching the show. So thanks for having me on Hold the Ball, and cannot wait for the preseason this week, and I can't wait for our trial tomorrow against the West Tigers. So I'm looking forward to it.
No worries. Thank you, Fanatics, for joining in. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Thank you again, guys, there in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and subscribe to both of us. Look forward to, I'm sure we'll have both our reviews of the game tomorrow. Go the Warriors. You know how it is. This is our year. This is our year. 2033. Who are the Penrith Panthers? We don't know who they are. It's all about the Warriors. See you guys next time. But just remember, hold the ball. Thank you, Fanatics. Take it easy. See you guys.
Yeah.